येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित नामने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So we start text 45. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
ब्रह्मा भवो भवन्तश्च
ब्रह्मा
ब्रह्मा
भवन्तश्च
भगवन्तश्च
मनवो विबुधेश्वराः।
मनवो
मनवो
विभूतेश्वरः।
विबुधेश्वरः।
विभूतयो मम हेता
विभूतयो
विभूतयो
मम
मम
हेत
हेता
भूतानां भूतिहेतवः।
भूतानां
भूतानां
हेतवः।
भूतिहेतवः।
Yes,
हरे
I would
कृष्ण
like to
प्रभु
read.
जी, दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी। मैं रीड
Yes,
प्रभु जी।
please. Hare Krishna. Yes, please, Prabhu.
लॉर्ड ब्रह्मा, लॉर्ड शिव, the Manus, all other demigods in the higher planetary systems, and you Prajapatis who are increasing the population are working for the benefit of all living entities. Thus, you expansions uh, of my marginal energy are incarnation of my various qualities. There are various types of incarnations or expansions of Supreme Personality of Godhead. The expansions of his personal self or Vishnu Tattva are called Swamsa expansions, whereas the living entities who are not Vishnu Tattva but Jiva Tattva are called Vivinnansa, separated expansion. Although Prajapati Daksh is not the same level as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, he is compared to them because he engages in the service of Lord. In the service of the personality of Godhead, it is not that the Lord Brahma is considered very great while an ordinary human being trying to preach the glories of the Lord is considered very low. There are no such distinction regardless whether materially high or materially low. Anyone engages in the service of Lord is spiritually very dear to him. In this regard, Srila Madhavacharya gives this quotation from Tantra Nirya- Ni- Nirnaya. Nirnaya. विशेष व्यक्ति पात्र ब्रह्मद्वयस्तु विभूतयः तद अंतर्यामिनश्चैव मत् श्रद्धा विभास स्मृतः. From Lord Brahma down to living entities engaged in the service of the Lord are extraordinary and are called Vibhuti. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 10.41, Yad Yad Vibhuti Mat Sattam Srimad Ujatam Eva Va Tat Tad Eva Bhagatam Mam Tejo Mans Sambhavam. Know that all beautiful, glorious, and mighty creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. A living entity, specially empowered to act on behalf of the Lord, is called Vibhuti, whereas Vishnu Tattva incarnation of the Lord, such as Matsya Avatar, Keshava, Dhruti, Meena Sharira, Jaya Jagadisha Hare are called Vibhava. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So, anyone who's engaged in the service of the Lord is actually a channel for the Supreme Lord. See, there are different types of living entities. Of course, we are reading these broad distinctions of Swamsh and Vibhinnamsh. But even there, there are categorizations in between. Like, for example, Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj is Shaktyavesh. So how do we define him? Is he Swamsh or Vibhinnamsh? So he is Vibhinnamsh who portrays Swamsh characteristics. In fact, he himself says, when the sages are praising him, he says that before my divine characteristics are manifested, praising me is actually like an insult. So what is his position? So we should understand that Lord's expansions are infinite. These are broad categorizations. But there are many categories that fall in between. For example, my favorite example of Hridaya Chaitanya. Who is Hridaya Chaitanya? Hridaya Chaitanya is directly manifesting Lord Chaitanya. Completely, like he becomes Lord Chaitanya. So on certain occasions when Lord Chaitanya wishes to shower his mercy upon residents of Navadvip, Hridaya Chaitanya becomes his channel. And Lord manifests completely through him. Then who is Hridaya Chaitanya? Or is this some sort of Mayavad that Hridaya Chaitanya merges into Lord Chaitanya? So these are Achintya, this is Achintya Bheda Bhed. So it's very hard to distinguish between the living entity and the Supreme Lord because he is simultaneously one and different. So manifesting as the Supreme, manifesting as Vibhinna. So it's that way, it's a bit complex. It's not so easy. So therefore, it's very difficult, to say what is right, what is wrong here. Hmm. So, but one thing is very clear that those who are engaged in the service of the Lord are very special. Vishesha Vyakti Patratvad Brahmadayastu Vibhutaya Tad Antaryaminaschaiva Matsyadya Vibhava Smrita. All the living entities engaged in the service of Lord are extraordinary and are called Vibhuti. So what is Vibhuti? According to dictionary Nirukti, Vibhuti, one of the meanings is ash, but other meaning of Vibhuti is also the splendor. I mean, the Shaivites, they use ash to decorate their body. This is a decoration, Vibhuti. Vibhuti means opulence or mystic power of the Lord. So the living entities who are genuinely engaged in the service of the Lord, whose only objective is to serve the Lord, also fall in the category of Vibhuti. What is Vibhuti actually? Vibhuti is someone who has tuned his consciousness only to the service of the Lord. There is no, you can say, trace of selfish desire. So those personalities are known as Vibhutis. So certainly, like Srila Prabhupada is certainly a Vibhuti. So such personalities who are dedicated, whose life's dedicated mission is only to serve the Lord, fall in that category. As we were discussing yesterday also, Nacha tasmad manusheshu kaschin me priyakrittama bhavita name cha tasmad nacha me tasmad anya priyataro bhuvi. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So one who is actually serving the Lord with pure heart is completely dear to the Lord. He's as good as the Lord himself. Sakshat Dharittvena Samasta Shastrair. Hare Krishna. Yes, any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, the last line
Yes.
of this are called Vibhava. What is Vibhava?
Vibhava. Kesava Dhrita Meena Sharir. Vibhava, they are like, Vibhava are expansions.
Why?
They are not manifesting full glories.
Thank you.
Avatar, Vibhava, or Kala. So there are different types of expansions of the Lord.
Thank you.
Okay, we continue. Yeah, any questions? Anyone? Okay. We take text 46.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Vibhuti and Shaktavesh avatars, and what is the difference between the two?
Shaktavesh are
Because
Vibhutis only. Vibhuti is
because
a
both
splendor.
are
See,
they are the same
try to
thing,
understand.
or it's different.
No. Vibhuti is a super category. See, from Lord Brahma down, all the living entities engaged in the service of the Lord are extraordinary and are called Vibhuti. So Shaktavesh is also a part of Vibhuti.
Okay.
Vyasdev, he's a Vibhuti. Or Prithu Maharaj is a Vibhuti.
Means these terms are used synonymously?
No, don't get into these technicalities. These are only for those who are like Sanskrit scholars.
Shaktavesh Avatar, sir, living entity or what? Lord's Prabhu, Lord himself.
Shaktaveshas.
Hmm.
Lord,
They are living
They're living
entities.
entities. Shakti Avesha. They are like literally they're wearing the splendor of the Lord. Shakti Avesha.
It's like
Wearing the clothes of energy. If you want to translate it very technically.
they are wearing the clothes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they have assumed the energy of the Lord. So Lord has empowered, okay, you are pure, you take this energy and do it. Like Prabhupada. Prabhupada is a Shaktavesh. Krishna Shakti bina nahi tare pravartan. So one
Correct.
cannot, like Jesus Christ, Prabhupada, you cannot preach without the mercy of the Lord. Otherwise, actually, we have been breaking our head on stones, nothing has happened.
then what is Narasimha Avatar then?
Sangha is expansion of the Lord.
Expansion.
He's Lord himself. He is Swamsh. He's not. These are Vivinna Amsh we are talking of.
Thank you.
So we continue. Text 46. Tapo me hridayam brahmams
तपो मे हृदयं ब्रह्मंस
tanor vidya kriya kriti
धनुर्विद्या क्रियाकृति
angani kritavo jata
अंगानि कृतवो जाता
dharma atma savah sura.
धर्म आत्मा समसुरा.
Yes. Yes, please.
Thank you. Translation purport by Sri Prabhupada teacher. Translation. My dear Brahman, austerity in this form of meditation in my heart, Vedic knowledge in the form of Atman and Mantra continue in my body. And spiritual activities and aesthetic emotions are my actual form. The ritualistic cosmic ceremonies and sacrifices, when properly conducted, are the various limbs of my body. The unseen good fortune proceeding from the fires of the spiritual activity constitute my mind, and the demigods who execute my order in the various departments of my life and soul. Purpose. Sometimes atheists argue that since God is invisible in their eye, they do not believe in God. For them, the Supreme Lord is describing as a method by which one can see God in his impersonal form. Intelligent persons can see God in his personal form, as stated in the Shastra. But if one is very eager to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead immediately, face to face, he can see Supreme Lord through the description which portrays the various internal and external parts of the body. To engage in tapasya or denial of material activity is the first principle of spiritual life. Then there are spiritual activities such as performance of Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, study of the Vedic knowledge, meditation upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. One should also respect demigods and understand how they are situated, how they act, and how they manage the activities of various departments of this material world. In this way, one can see how God is existing and how everything is managed perfectly. Because of presence of the Supreme Lord. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9.7, Madhya Agni Prasopate, Suddhite Sacharate, Atende Anandi Ponte, Jagat Dupadi Savata. This material workman nature is working under my ocean of Kunti and is producing all moving and non-moving beings. By its rule, the manifestation created and annihilated again and again. If one is unable to see the Supreme Lord although he is present in Krishna in his Varshan incarnation. One may see the Supreme Lord's impersonal features according to the directions of the Vedas by the seeing of the activity of the material nature. Anything done under the direction of the Vedic injunctions is called dharma, as described by the order areas of Yamaraj, Bhagavatam 6.1.540. Vedaha Parvipahito Dharmo He Adharmastat Vipadya Vedaha Nirjanti Sakshat Savayamro Iti Susama. That which is prescribed in Vedas constitutes dharma, the religious principles, and the opposite of that is irreligion. The Vedas are directly the Supreme Personality Godhead, Narayan, and our self-form. This we have heard from Yamaraj. In this connection, in Madhavacharya comments, Tapa Vimani Rudras Vinur Harde Ram Arsita Vidya Rupi Tatha Munur Vishnu Sanam Upustai Sangade Akriti Gita Sujanti Pak Samsaha Angreshu Karteve Sarva Madhye Dehe Ches Dharma Tani Padyasu Pitri Kita Brahmadvadi Varsave Chandrita. The various demigods are all acting under the protection of the Supreme Lord. As a Godhead, and according to their various actions, the demigods are differently named. Hare Krishna Bhakti.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. Now, what we are describing here is the Virat Purush manifestation. This description has already been given in the second canto. Now the Lord is repeating this description here. Lord is explaining this form of his. As Srila Prabhupada simply explains that this is the impersonal manifestation of the Lord. So for those who are grossly atheistic, grossly animalistic, to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead is impossible. But by understanding the Virat Purush manifestation, they can get some idea that there is a supreme form of the Lord. So coming from an impersonal misconception of the Lord, one can develop a personal understanding by meditating on this form. This is not necessary for devotees at all. Devotees don't even talk about this form of the Lord, because this has really no meaning for a personal devotee. So this form is meant for those who can engage in tapasya. Coming from a grossly impersonal misconception, trying to understand the personality of Godhead is impossible. So one focuses on the various limbs and organs of the Lord in this form of Virat Purush. And then gradually one develops a personal conception, and then one can gradually think about devotional service of the Lord. That may take many lifetimes, but this is the process. So now the point is, Krishna is saying, Mameva Ansh Jeev Loke. All living entities are his parts and parcels. So the whole system, the whole material system works in such a way that the living entity can be delivered from the materialistic misconception. So how does one get out of it? That is by following the process of the Vedas. The process of Varnashram, the process of Yajna and Vedas, that is meant to deliver one. So Krishna has created this material energy in such a manner that living entity, so Krishna has created Vedas and he has created material energy. Maya Dhakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. So there is a technical difference between Prakriti and Maya. Maya is illusion itself. Prakriti is the working force, if we see. The environment itself is not deluding us. It is our misconception which is deluding us. Like we have discussed previously also, the form of a beautiful woman. To a lusty man, she's an object of desire. To a dog, she's a piece of meat. To a Chandal, she's just another body. And to a Brahmana, she's a soul. Same object is manifest in different ways to different personalities depending on their perspective. So the object is Prakriti, but the perspective is technically Maya. Only the Pandita is free from this Maya, all the others are in Maya. The dog is seeing her as food. So she's not food, she's a living entity. She's very much like a conscious, sentient being. She's not the object of desire, she's just an object. So that perspective is actually Maya, that misconception is Maya. But what is manifested, that is Prakriti. So this Prakriti is created by the Lord and conducted in such a way that living entities can come out of their misconception. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukha Doshanu Darshanam. What is this? Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. What is it applicable to? Not applicable to soul, but it is applicable to the body which is made of Prakriti. And the laws of birth and death are also laws of Prakriti. So why are they there then? Is the Lord cruel to the embodied living soul? No. It's a lesson to the living soul. Like Prabhupada says, a man sees his grandfather died and he sees his father die, and yet he never thinks that he's going to die. So if a man is even a little bit learned, he will realize that I am also going to die, just like my father died. So thinking like this, he'll become sober-minded. And then he'll remember the Lord. Krishna bhuli sei jeev anadi bahir mukha ataevat maya tare deya sansara dukha. So this material energy is creating difficulties so that the living entity can come back to his original consciousness, which is natural. You know, if you're driving on the wrong lane or if you're driving without headlights, the traffic police will fine you because you are creating a disturbance in the order. So just like that, when the living entity disobeys the laws of the Lord or disobeys the laws of Prakriti, the Prakriti punishes him so that he can come back to order. And the real order is to be completely a servant of the Lord. Jivera Sharup hoy Krishnera Nityadas. So when one violates this rule, Prakriti aligns him. So Prakriti is not punishing, but she is just realigning the living entity. So Krishna has given yoga, Vedas also. Maya Mugdha Jivera Nahi Sata Krishna Gyan, Krishnera Kripaya Kaila Krishna Veda Puran. So he has given Vedas and Puranas so that one can understand him and go back. So in two ways, Prakriti is giving the negative motivation, Vedas are giving the positive motivation. And in between, the Lord manifests as Paramatma and as Guru. And he's also manifesting as Vaishnava. So in this way, the Supreme Lord is also assisting the living entity directly. He's assisting indirectly through Prakriti and directly through the Vedas and through Guru and Vaishnavas. So in this way, he's trying to bring the living entity back to his natural position. So whatever is written in the Vedas, that constitutes dharma. And whatever is not in the Vedas is adharma. So this is not like some Abrahamic misconception that everything is kufra or nonsense. No, this means that if you act against the laws of the Vedas, you will suffer. That's why it is called adharma. Dharma literally means duty. Dharma means constitutional position or character. So what is adharma is uncharacteristic, and that will cause you distress. So these living entities who are the demigods, they are also acting under the protection of the Lord. They are known as suras because they are acting as per the will of the Lord to sustain the order of the universe so that the living entities can have a safe passage back to Godhead. But those who are acting against these orders, they are asuras or demonic. So asuras bring chaos to the society. So everyone, even the so-called Hindus, Muslims, they are all asuras because they are not following the order of the Vedas. They are not trying to bring living entities back to Godhead. So anyone who is not aligned in this mission of the Lord to bring the living entities back to Godhead is actually an asura. He may go by the name of this minister, that minister, or whatever, or protector of Hindu dharma or whatever, but he's an asura if he doesn't understand the Vedas, or he doesn't act according to it, or he doesn't, impel others to act according to the laws. Hare Krishna. Yes, any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there is a verse in the Gita or Bhagavatam, I don't remember, which says that all the demigods are acting the way they are acting or doing their duties out of fear of the Supreme Lord. The sun shines in fear of the Lord, the wind. So I feel why, yeah. So why are Lord is is supposed to be so loving and so this, why are they so fearful of him? Because
They are
now
fearful of
this
him. They are fearful of breaking the laws. So they are not acting out of fear. But you must understand, see, in this material world, everyone is born out of his selfish desires.
Hmm.
So if everyone is born out of if everyone is born out of selfish desire, then definitely there is some desire to be separate from the Lord. So they have to be aligned. So uh, yes, of course, like demigods are certainly working for the benefit of the Lord Himself, but still there are other living entities who are not. So demigods also, like you see, for example, Indra. So there are demigods like Indra or Brahma who violate laws of Krishna.
Hmm.
So they are violating the laws of Krishna. So this have this tendency to be independent. So there is that element of fear. Magnetic principle, if the distance increases, like if the magnet tries to pull away, then the magnetic force also increases.
They are fearful in the sense like how an employee is fearful of an employer.
Yes. That's very, like you can say crudely it is like this. Because the Lord is very loving, especially to demigods,
Hmm.
but still there is an element of fear that if they violate the law, they will be punished. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam. So yes, so if one who is not following the laws is a dushkritina.
Hmm. Because when you love someone, if the demigods also love the Lord so much, then they will act out of love, and not fear.
Yeah, so there is fear also of, like there is fear in relationship also, fear of offending someone. So while demigods may not be exactly fearful like demons are,
Hmm.
like demons are outright fearful, but demigods are
Hmm.
not fearful that way, but they are fearful of offending the Lord. Just like
Hmm.
child is fearful of his father. That doesn't mean that
Hmm.
father is evil or punishing.
Hmm. Okay, got it. Thank you.
That is simultaneous love and fear always exists unless we are
Yes.
fully purified or dedicated. So once we become like the example of a father was what's coming into my mind and finally spoke up. So there is fear when we are small, but later on when we understand that everything what a father is acting is for the goodwill of the ourselves, so then there is no fear, it's only love. So even the demigods, because they are mixed devotees, so they always have a fear of loss unless a living entity is fully purified. Like you can see in the case of Prahlad Maharaj and Narsingh Dev, all the demigods, including Brahma and Shiva, were very afraid to approach. But Prahlad Maharaj, he is the adorable Lord, one in that most fearsome form. Lord Narasimha was very adorable, and it was equally reciprocative, both sides for them. So he was fully purified. Therefore, there is no fear only. But if we are not reached that stage, then we'll always have fear. We have to ask that question to ourselves also. We do fear Lord sometimes. We do fear Lord. We do fear sometimes our Shiksha Guru or our spiritual masters also, because uh, we may unknowingly commit a offense, or maybe we may unknowingly follow an instruction. So that fear that we may break an instruction can create a fear for the spiritual master also. But then this is out of respect and love only. So if we
Yes.
become more and more sincere, then that fear will exist. Once we have become very, very sincere, fully purified, then the fear unmanifested, it transforms into only full love. That's what I understand too. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So there is some fear because this fear does not exist on the spiritual platform, but in the material platform, it will always exist because there is always a misalignment between the desires of the Lord and the living entity.
We can call it in Hindi word, Saman. Out of the Saman, internal respect.
Yeah, respect. But there is also fear, like, that I may offend the Lord by doing something wrong. Of course, the
Of
Lord does
course.
not take offense to minor things, but that is that love, that fear born out of love, because demigods also love Krishna. Otherwise, they won't be demigods.
Yeah.
Prajapati Daksh is a demigod.
Uh-huh.
It is actually love and their nature both. It's their nature to take up that big task as well as their love for the Lord. That's what they're doing. Elsewise, they would have become asuras, because even asuras would like to do many things, but they don't want to. They don't have any respect or love for the Lord.
Yes. So that's the point. So there is always that kind of, because if we go back to the second canto again, the formation of Ahankar. At that time, that relationship between the Lord and the living entity is broken. So this fear exists. Okay, just one small thing I wanted to discuss. So tomorrow maybe we could start a bit early. So maybe like 15 minutes early if we could start, then we could end also quite early. So that you don't have to wait so late in India.
What time you like to start, Prabhuji?
15 minutes earlier.
Okay.
9 o'clock, Prabhuji. We can start now 9 o'clock every day. That would be better.
Yeah, we start at 9 sharp.
Okay.
Okay. Prabhu.
This is for tomorrow or every day, Prabhu?
Let's see.
Every-
Let's start with tomorrow. If it
Okay,
works, then
we'll
we
start
continue.
tomorrow. We'll start tomorrow at 9 p.m. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you tell me every day, that will be better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's better, because then earlier the mind is fresher.
That's right.
Okay, so we stop here today. Thank you very much, everyone. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
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 Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dandavat